Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's video. It's Monday on GazWeatherViz.com, which can mean only one thing. Yes, it's Europe Day. Every Monday at GazWeatherViz.com we have a look at the weather for the coming week across the European continent, and today is no exception. Now, before I get on with the video, I just want to talk about the advertising that usually be a video ad overlaying my web videos at GazWeatherViz.com. Please play those videos. You'll be supporting GazWeatherViz.com if you do that. And I want to mention Gav Shop. Please go through to Gav Shop, click on the Amazon.co.uk banner, go through to Amazon, do your Christmas shopping. You'll be supporting GazWeatherViz.com at the same time. And finally, I want to mention the website I'm using for the video. It's westcentral.d. You can find it on my links page. I'm rushing through this because we've got a lot to get on with in this video. We've got a really cold week coming up across many parts of Europe this week. Heavy snow in places to start week, and then later on in the week we're going to have a really big and really quite severe freeze-up across central parts of the continent. So it really is going to be quite a difficult week coming up. So this is the situation today. We've got high pressure building around the British Isles, stretching up towards Iceland, and we've also got this build of high pressure over the northwest of Russia. And these two areas of high pressure have forced southwards some very cold air into Central Europe. We've got this area of low pressure sitting across Central Europe, producing a lot of snow. So the cold air has bled down into the continent, and the low pressure is providing the snow. So have a look at the upper air temperatures. Very cold upper air temperatures today across many parts of the continent. Quite mild through the Mediterranean, as you'd expect really for the time of year, but really much of the continent today will be cold and wintry. The dew points, showing some severely cold dew points up here over Scandinavia. They'll be heading down across central parts of the continent later on in the week. Elsewhere the dew points are around or below freezing, so yeah, it's very cold really for much of the continent. Precipitation today indicating a lot of snow here through central part, through Germany. Some persistent and really quite prolonged snowfall likely, stretching up to Denmark as well, and then going down in towards these alpine areas. Yeah, we've got plenty of snow going on there as well, and going up to the northeast. Mainly dry over Scandinavia. There's a few snow flows around, but you expect it to be pretty dry because we're under an area of high pressure. Also dry through much of Spain and Portugal. Once we come southwards in towards some parts of Italy and on into the Balkans, we've got a mix of heavy rain through Italy and possibly some snow through the Balkans as well. So temperatures today, well, it's quite cold everywhere. It is cold out in the west around Britain Line down into France, but the real cold is eastwards from Germany. That's where we've got some very cold temperatures, barely above freezing, and going further north and east, really bitterly cold across many of these eastern parts of the continent and in the northeast as well, with temperatures staying several degrees below freezing today. Really will be bitterly cold indeed. Now, as we move through to the middle part of the week, well, low pressure is trying to develop out in the Atlantic and start to push in off the Atlantic, but the high pressure to the northeast is still dominating things. And we've got high pressure building through these central parts of the continent as well. Now we're building that high pressure over very cold air and over largely snow-covered ground. So that is going to be the recipe for some really severely cold temperatures to take place from the middle of the week onwards, as these little areas of low pressure start to get squeezed out. So we can see that precipitation has eased off really through many of these central parts. We've still got some snow about, particularly for parts of northern Germany perhaps, and there's snow flows almost anywhere really, but the snow has eased off compared to what it is in the first part of the week. More snow likely over parts of Scandinavia and stretching down into the northeast as well, but really these central, southern and southwestern parts of Europe largely dry. Mesmer precipitation is starting to develop in the Atlantic, just heading in towards Portugal and northern parts of Spain perhaps, and into Ireland as well, just indicating that the low pressure is beginning to get its act together in the Atlantic, and this could actually be turning to snow through parts of Northern Ireland, central, southern parts of Scotland and northern England. But look at these dew points through the middle of the week. Really severely cold dew points here across these central parts of the continent. Germany, Poland, in for some very, very cold weather in the middle part of the week, severely cold, stretching down into the Balkans as well, and through many of these central parts of Europe. And elsewhere, we've got very cold dew points as well, much of France, very cold, and of course severely cold up in the north and the northeast, but you would expect it up there. But this in Central really will be quite noteworthy, I think, from the middle of the week onwards. Look at these daytime temperatures being predicted by the models. Some parts of Germany, Poland, Austria, down in towards Hungary, and then down in towards the Balkans. Some places not getting above -7, -8, -9 all day. Some places may stay below -10, and by night we're looking at temperatures below -20 across some of these central parts of the continent through the middle and latter part of the week. So really severely cold. Do wrap up warm and take care if you're in the middle of the continent in the middle of the week, because it's going to be very cold. Even in the west it's very cold. Britain barely above freezing, much of France as well barely above freezing, but it's the central, I think, that get the really big freeze through the middle of the week. Now, as we go into the end of the week, this low pressure in the Atlantic is starting to shake up the pattern, sweeping in. We've got tightly packed ice bar, turning very windy in the west, with heavy rain pushing in across Ireland, Britain into western parts of France. That will turn increasingly to snow as it moves on east into those central parts of the continent. Could see a real blizzard next weekend across central parts of Europe. But this is the precipitation forecast for Friday. We had a little bit of a health warning with this. Not sure it'll be quite as quick coming in, but certainly a lot of rain here for Britain. Possibly some snow across Scotland and northern England. And coming down to France, heavy rain in the west, but that'll turn increasingly to snow, maybe freezing rain, actually, as it moves on in towards central and eastern parts of France for a time. And then heavy rain goes down in towards much of Spain and Portugal as well. Of course, heavy snow over the Pyrenees. Largely dry for these central areas and still severely cold. We've got a mix of rain and snow down here in the southeast of the continent. So dew points for the end of the week, well, it's starting to warm up in the west, and that's warmer areas trying to push eastwards, but much of the continent still severely cold on Friday. Dreadfully cold across Germany, going in towards Poland, up in towards the northeast and much of Scandinavia, down into the southeast, where the Balkans will be severely cold at the end of the week, most likely. So these are the daytime temperatures, maximums predicted at the end of the week. Looking at temperatures barely above freezing here across much of the continent. Excuse me, through the end of the week, but it is somewhat milder out in the west as that warmer air extends in from the Atlantic. So that's it. We're looking at a really tough week across many parts of Europe this week. A big freeze, really, from Germany eastwards into the eastern parts of Europe, southeastern Europe as well. Severely cold. Snow to start off with, but not too cold. It is cold, but not severely cold with snow really for the first bit of the week. But then from the middle of the week onwards, severely cold through central Europe. Do take care, wrap up warm. I say daytime temperatures really will be struggling to get above -7, -8, -10 in places. By night, we're below -20 in a lot of places. So severely cold from the middle of the week onwards. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.